There is renewed attention to safety on our waterways after a tragic incident last weekend in North Vancouver that claimed a young life. One child was killed and another critically injured after their inflatable tube was struck by a speedboat. So what does safe boating mean, and how can you protect yourself and others? Joining us this morning from Boating BC is Bruce Hayne. Good morning, Bruce. Thanks so much for being here.
Good morning, Carrie. Thanks for having me.
An important conversation. I mean, a lot of people are getting out on the water now. But tell us a little bit more about, as far as bad boating crashes like we saw in Kate's Park. How common are those? Do they happen often?
They really are very infrequent, fortunately. And certainly our condolences go out to the family and the friends and the classmates of those affected. But they are relatively rare. There's about between 10 and 15 boating fatalities a year in British Columbia on average. So that is, that's about the same as the number of swimming fatalities, that type of thing. But when they do happen, they're terribly tragic.
Are they seasonal? When we hear about incidents that turn fatal, is it fairly seasonal? Is summertime when most of these happen?
It is, because most people are out in the water in the summertime, although in the fall and spring, particularly in early spring, the water is very, very cold. And so if you fall in, the hypothermia and the chance of survival goes down.
So we want to talk about alcohol and speed, because we do hear about incidents from time to time where there is people on the water and they are drinking. It's summertime. What is the rule when it comes to alcohol and boats?
Well, the rule is very similar to an automobile. There is absolutely, you cannot be impaired and operate a boat just the same way you can't with a motor vehicle. You cannot have open liquor in a boat unless it is a much larger vessel that has a washroom, a galley, and sleeping quarters. So typically open boats like bow riders and pontoon boats, the kind of boats you'd see, day boats out there, you are not allowed to have open alcohol on them.
What about smaller man-powered boats, like, I'm just saying kayaks and that kind of thing?
Well,
are there rules around that, or is it more like,
well,
that's a risk you don't want to take?
Could be, I'm sure you could be charged with impaired kayaking. And in and around the Symphony of Fire, for instance, the VPD and the Port Authority are out looking for those types of things, but that is more rare.
Got it. Okay. So is it hard to enforce those kinds of rules on the water? How do you get people to comply with the rules that are in place?
Well, we have information campaigns every single year, as do others, the Canadian Safe Boating Society and so on, talking about drinking and boating and other safety issues. So we're out there all the time encouraging people to do the right thing and to boat responsibly. And that is the key thing, boating responsibly.
What is, besides alcohol, what are some of the common mistakes, the common, rules that people may break, and they may be not even aware that they're doing it? They may not know that it's a rule that's in place that they need to adhere to.
Well, certainly you must have a properly fitting life jacket for everybody on board. And you may have a couple of life jackets on your boat, and then you take 6 people out, and all of a sudden you only have 2 life jackets for 6 people. So you must have a properly fitting life jacket for everybody on board. But what we say is go one step further and actually wear it. Things can happen in a second, and if your life jacket is stuck under a seat somewhere, you just can't get to it.
And we want to also point out, just in light of recent accidents, that you're sharing the water. If you're on a boat, you're sharing the water with people who are swimming, people who are in tubes, people who are in kayaks. If you could give us just some quick do's and don'ts. What should people do to safely share the water with each other?
Well, great point. And in and around Vancouver, the waterways get very busy, particularly in the summer. And in the major waterways, like in Burrard Inlet, you're also sharing the water with commercial traffic, with ferries, with freighters, with cruise ships, and so on. That's when you really have to have your head in a swivel and pay attention to what's going on around you. For boating activities like tow sports, like towing someone on a tube or wakeboarding, that sort of thing, do it away from shore, do it out in the water where there's open water and people can see a long way off that that's what you're doing, and can stay clear of you.
Okay, good information this morning. Hopefully people can continue boating season in a safe way. Bruce Hayne, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
My pleasure.
Appreciate your time.